Hello, Charming Charles. How was your time away?
Good. Spent time with all the grandbabies. So
Are you back in the Bluegrass State, or are you still out in the Golden Gate State?
I'm in Kentucky.
Back into Kentucky. All right. Well, hopefully you got some Kentucky horse racing wisdom today. We're going to go off to Gulfstream Park, but before we do that, of course, today's free track at Guaranteed Tip Sheet down in the description below. You'll find it is Mahoning Valley up in Ohio. How far is that from you, Charles?
Mahoning Valley. Well, it's about probably 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive, right in that ballpark.
Not that bad. So today it's the free track at about a 2.5 hour drive. I don't know how far it is from me, but where's that, near Cincinnati?
Yeah, very close to Cincinnati. Yes.
Yeah, so about 5.5 hour ride. Sir Mason will be the best bet. Opening race there, post time at 1:45 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you use that link down in the description below, folks. That's where you can get all the free picks every single day. One track for free, guaranteed tip sheet. Make sure you head on over there with the link in the description below so they know from where it is you are coming from. Charles, I know where we're coming from, but also know where we're going. That will be to Gulfstream Park for the first race of the 9-race card. What do they got cooking in the opener, Charles?
Well, guess what? They're all going to be on. All of them are going to be on all weather except for 2 races, I think.
Oh yeah.
5.5 furlongs, all weather. Maiden claiming 16,000. Purse is 24,000. This is just for 2-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. And we usually do a bunch of simulations, but in this case, we couldn't do them because, well, a lot of these horses are going to try to run for the first time. And those that have run don't have a whole lot of experience. But we do know that so far, 5 furlong all-weather races at Gulfstream Park favor early speed. 28% of the time, they go wire to wire. Marshall Faulk. Is that the best 28 ever, Charles? Marshall Faulk?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Post positions in the all-weather for 5 furlong. They play pretty fair. There's no advantage. So really, Charles, the only thing there is to do is somehow pick the same 4 horses for 2-year-olds, many of whom are starting their first time around. So why do you like them the same order I like them, besides plagiarizing?
Well, that too. I mean, well, it's 6-horse field, so it's kind of odds were probably in our favor to get the same 4. But in the row, that's pretty hard.
Yes, indeed. I guess anyway, I'll leave the Harvard jokes alone.
But yeah, you probably. I'm going to go with the 1. This horse ran even last time out. First time gelding. Solid workout pattern. Trainer gets 22% with 46 plus days. And besides, my grandkids call me Papa. So there you go. So it's Papa Do. Papa Do.
I love it when they call me Big Papa. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
So the 6 is my second pick here. Dam of 4 winners from 6 starters. The trainer gets 13% with first timers. Bred to be fast. The 3 is well bet last time. Ran even last time out. Fits with this group. This is not really the big flashy group. Let's put that away. And the 2 was bred for this. Solid workout patterns. Looks like it totally fits with this group. But as you can see, I'm starting with the pick 5. I'm going for the fences today. Even though I think it might be chalk, I'm hoping for a price in at least a couple of those races. I'm going with my top 3 picks here in the first leg. Second leg, top 4 picks. I'm singling out that third leg. And then I'm going top 3 picks in the fourth and the final 5th leg.
I like the 1 horse, Papa Do, Papa Do. Papa Do, Papa Do should improve in its second career start. And it's the only horse in the field that's taken a class drop of the experienced horses. So the class drop, second race improvement should be enough. Flash over. I think it's the top first timer in here. Good works. Trainer Brittany Vandenberg wins at 13% with first time starters. And Mama makes some winners. Sir Banana Bryant. At first, my dyslexia kicked off in there, and I thought it said Sir Banana Brain. I was like, what a great name for a horse. But anyway, this one was well bet in her debut. It was pinched at the start of that race, Charles, so maybe couldn't live up to bettors' expectations because of the opening instance. But I think a better start might be all she needs to find the winner circle. And then finally, I agree with you, Charles, of the horses that are left, Bulkin has the second best set of workouts for the first timers, in my opinion. I'm going to do a trifecta 1-3-6 with the 1-6 over the 1-2-3-6 and the 7 horse to get cracking in there. Hello, Mehmet.
Yeah.
1 and 6 have the same pedigree. All right, we'll see about that. Christopher
Oh, the
D'Souza.
1-6. Yeah, kind of do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Christopher D'Souza liking the 7 horse in here. Anadulo for the win with the 3 and the 2. And if, like Mehmet and Christopher, you have some thoughts about races today at Gulfstream Park, Mahoning Valley, Aqueduct, anywhere on the planet for that matter, just please let us know in the comment section. Also, if you have any questions for Charles and I, Charles does some blood horse work, right? Some helps people with claiming horses and buying horses that are never run before. He's trained horses. I don't think he can ride horses, but maybe
I can ride them, but I can't ride them like that.
yes, I mean, I rode one. My story on that, I've told it too many times. But all right, let's go off to race number 2, Charles, before they run race number 1. Race number 2, is this one on the turf, or did they take them off the turf?
They took them off the turf today because the main track sloppy. So they had a little rain out there. So we got a mile and a 16th now on the all-weather. This is the all-weather track anyway. Rain, no rain, it doesn't matter. They just run on all-weather.
Yes, that was your favorite thing, right?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. Holy, come on. Optional claimer of 35,000. The purse is 37,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $25,000 or less since December the 14th, of 21, or claiming price of 35,000.
So the Topeka course at a mile and a 16th, Charles, does favor stalkers. 17% of the time the horse that gets to the lead stays on the lead. There is a rail penalty, so in a spin might suffer a bit. 2 and 3, they also are penalized, but not as badly as the rail. 4 through 7, they play a little bit better than par. 8 and out, they play fair, Charles. As I mentioned in the opener, we do 1,000 simulations using early speed figures along with speed numbers to generate our odds. We want our simulation odds to be lower than post-time odds so we can get a little bit of value. Based upon those 1,000 simulations, we also want to see how many times or what percentage of those 1,000 races a horse runs a speed figure above par, or at least a projected one. In race number 2, 85 is that number that we're looking for. So you see that the one horse about 47% of the time tops that. Also early speed to see who might get the lead at the quarter-mile marker, and based upon those pace, which horses are likely to get races that mirror their best performances. Charles, for the first time today, take us through all the numbers.
Yeah, it looks like the 7's got a 68% chance of getting that lead at the quarter. 8 might have a little bit of say, and I do believe the 8 might even have a great chance myself. When it comes to simulation odds, we got the 1, slightly under 2-1. We have 6-1 morning line. And then we have the 3 at 2-1. We have a 4-1 morning line, which is a nice little overlay. And then we have the 8 at 6-1 and a 15-1 morning line. Very nice.
Yeah, and then par plus, you'd see here the 1 and the 3, Chick Shadow. Somehow neither one of us have the 3 in our picks. It might be regretful because you have that simulation odds. You got that big par plus score in there. What were we thinking, Charles? Let's take a look at the race shape for the second start. We like to see how horses run their best. Looks like this race is really slanted towards horses that want to come off the pace, so speed could do pretty well. Early speed favors the 8 and the 7. They're a bit quicker, about a length quicker than Alibert. The late speed, as far as the end of the race is concerned, Go Big Green. About a 12-point advantage over Chick Shadow. That's a big number right there, Charles. That means if that horse is anywhere remotely close coming down the stretch, it'd be hard to hold that guy off. And then Big Band Luzarine, Go Big Green. Those two have the best total pace score, about 4 points clear of everybody else. They're all bunched up after that, Charles, except for maybe the 4 horse. How did you stack them up in race number 2?
I went with the 2. This horse does have that tactical speed, to be dangerous. Sit close. Trainer gets 23% with 46 plus days of rest. You get IRAD aboard, so why not? But remember, you just said something about the 4 there. Maybe not the 4. Well, this horse won last time out. Bred for the turf. Does that equal all weather? I don't know. Sometimes, most of the time, it does. Biacone, the trainer, gets 11% overall. You know what? He's much better trainer than those numbers. The 1 horse ran even last time out. Is my 3rd choice. Drops in class. Trainer gets 18% overall. Will be closing at the end. The 8 has the speed to steal this race. Trainer gets 13%, going from sprint to route. And look who's aboard, Joe Bravo.
Mm-hmm. I like the 2 horse in here, Go Big Green. Stellar late speed, working pretty good for today. The 8 horse, tied for the top last race speed figure, has a blistering workout since its last race. And Joe Bravo, when teams up with trainer David Fawkes, they've won 4-7 together. So I think David calls him when he has a live mount. The 1 horse, In a Spin, is the other to tie for the top last race speed figure. This one should do better in dropping in class for its second start after a layoff, although its resume is 50-50 on second starts off the sidelines. I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer here with the 6 horse, Charles Ali Bear. This horse was decently bet, winning its debut way back in January. And young horses can improve about 1 to 1.5 points on their speed figure for every month that they're off. The guy's been off about 11 months, so maybe somewhere between 11 and 16-point improvement. If you add that to his debut speed figure, it would be more than enough to win and to go over par. Charles, $1 trifecta, 50-cent try box with the 1, 2, 6, and 8. And we're about to start with race number 1 there, Charles. Let's see what happens in the opener with all of these first-timers on a wet track. And they're off. And right now, Charles, the 2 horse, Bolkin, has gone to the lead. Pretty stacked up across the track there. The 7 horse got about 5 wide. 2 horses come out and did a 2-path there. A lot of horses, the 3 horses really trying to find its way. Jockey looks like he's kind of holding that one back a little bit. The 6 has emerged to the front. The 7 on the outside there. Charles might screw everything up a little bit. Does look to me like the jockey on the 3 horse has a pretty good tight grip on that guy. I think you're going to see more from that one before the race is over. 6 horses jockey hasn't asked for much out of him either. So the reins remain loose. The 2 horse on the rail. Through the turn they go. Charles, the 6 continues to hold the way. The 1 has ducked down to the rail. He's going to make it an effort here, but it does look to me like
that 1 made a hell of a move.
Yes, the 3 horse might still chase this guy down, though, but the 5 horse is the one that's coming that could upset everything. Charles, looks like that's going to go 1, 5, 3, 6. 1, 5, 3, 6. You, my friend, are alive in your pick 5 with the 1 horse that went off at 6-1. How about that?
Yeah, I had win in place on that horse. I mean, that horse made a heck of a move, going from second to last and cut in. He saw that rail wide open. They just jetted in there.
Yeah, we both had him on top at 6-1. That's not a bad way to start the day, right?
That's not bad, especially when I think it's going to be chalk overall.
Yeah, 6-1. You got a $14 winner on top. The 5 horse, I mean, you know, it came out of nowhere. First shot fired. It went off at 16-1, the longest shot on the board. That's going to pay a pretty nice exacta trifecta price in there, Charles. Wish we had the 5 in our picks, but I'm glad to have a $14 horse on top, right?
Yeah, that's always nice. That's a good way of starting a pick 5 or a pick 4.
It's a race 2 for Gun McGreen, the best bet. So we got a best bet in race number 2. The 2 horse, all right. 2 horses, the best bet. We both like that horse 2 in there. Christopher D'Souza likes the 7 horse. The last Bullet's Mine with the 3, Chick Shadow, and the 1 in a spin for the second race. Charles, you and I are going to move on to the 3rd race today at Gulfstream. Again, 9 races overall. This one's 6.5. Did they move this one off the dirt into the all-weather 2, or are they going to run in the slop?
No, this one's going to be on the slop. They listed it as sloppy. It's 6.5 furlongs, claiming price of $62.50. Non-winners of 2 life. Purse is 19,000. This is for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
6.5 furlongs on the main track. Mr. Charles tends to favor horses that can giddy up and go when the gates open. In fact, 30% of the time they go wire to wire. That was my number in high school football, number 30. There is a little bit of a rail bonus for how about that? 2 and 3 play fair. 4 plus a little bit under par. And the farther you get away from the rail, the more under par it gets, but not by a whole lot. No deal makers or deal breakers with the post positions, Charles, but speed could be key, especially in a slob. Horses don't like that wet kickback, right?
Yeah, they don't, well, yeah, it's whoever gets the lead usually does very, very well.
And 2 of them look like they have
4,
a good chance to get there.
Yeah, the 4 has an excellent chance, a 38% chance. That's who I see out in front and probably not turning back. You have the 5 also that's going to challenge, but I think this one, the 5 is going to be pushing instead of leading. And then when it comes to simulation odds, well, we have the 1 slightly over even money, and we have 2-to-1 morning line. We have the 2 at just under 10-to-1. We got 12-to-1 morning line, and we have the 7 slightly, just slightly under 4-to-1. We have 4-to-1 morning line.
Now, one horse, Charles, with a strong chance to run a par number, better than expected, or better than needed, or average to win. A couple of them here are throwing in zeros. You have, looks like the 4-horse Noville. Got a good shot to get to the lead. Got a good shot to run the top C-zone score. Great par plus. Maybe that 4-horse will be a difficult one to beat. Let's see if the race shape will help it out or not. Balance, 2 on the front, 3 in the middle, 2 in the back. So everybody should be about where they want to be. Early speed does belong to Noville, although the 2 and the 5, the pressure horses will be right there. Maybe the one that doesn't fit in is the 6, because a lot of speed to its inside to clear, and is a horse that might be lead dependent as they come around the stretch for home. How about that? It'll be in the back of the pack. Charles has enough late speed to pass most of the horses. Don't know, though, that it'll have enough to catch up to that 4. When the race is over, Charles, it does look like Noville has a 5-point total pace advantage. It's about 1 length over the rest of the field. Maybe the 6 and the 3 don't fit, but everybody else could battle it out pretty well for second or third. And if I remember correctly, this is your single in the pick 4 or pick 5.
Yes, it is. It is my single, the 4 here. I see this horse going out in front and not looking back at all. Especially in the slop, it really does help those speed horses a lot. And plus this horse, one last time out, this horse is like the now horse. Trainer gets 23% with 46 plus days of rest. So a lot of things pointing for this horse. The 1 is my second choice here. This one does have tactical speed. The rail gets 18% overall, drops in class. The horse does have a shot, especially at the end. The 7 ran even last time, ran third the last 3 times. The trainer gets 16% with 46 plus days. So, that 7's always knocking on the door, basically, but just doesn't quite do it. The 5, the other speed horse, which I think is going to be more tactical and pressure, ran even. Totally fits with this group, but if the 4 breaks out in front, it's good luck.
Mm-hmm. So the prices are in on that opener. It looks like the 1 horse was a little bit probably closer to 5.5 to 1 because it only paid $15.60. I don't know if it's 6 to 1, right? 12. No, so probably a little bit closer to 7 to 1. And there, the 5 horse, $14 to place, and then $3.80 for Sir Banana Brain, Brian. The exacta paid $193.20 for $2. Not bad for that. That 50-cent try, $145.80. Charles, would have been nice to start with those 2 things, right?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yes, I like the 4-horse Novelli as well as my top selection in here, Charles. Top last race speed figure, really consistent performer in here. A couple of decent works between starts, although all the numbers stack up. I don't know that it's necessarily unbeatable favorite. The Dove in Charge, the 5-horse, should compete for the lead early on, so I like some of that. But also like the fact that most of the time when the horse runs its best race, it's off a little bit of rest, out of the barn. That's what we're going to see today. Speed horse catching a weight break with some decent workouts between races. How about that? That's about how they talk in Chicago, right? This one had a little bit earlier fractions last time out. We're a little quicker, and also confirmed by better 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. My concern, though, about that horse is it did regress a little bit last time out. So, some continued regression might not put that horse into contention. Then finally, Vacation Suite. I think this is more of a gimmick horse. I think the 4, 5, and 1 where you're going to find your winners in there. This horse has run 8 times. Has 1 win. The good news for today is that lone win came on an off track. All the other efforts were third place, 4 of them. So I think really more a horse that's going to compete for second or third, unless it's one of those horses that just absolutely loves a wet track and gets his second win today because the ground is wet. 1, 4, 5, 4, 5 with the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 for my trifecta in race number 3. 3 + 1 makes 4, Charles. Just want to make sure my math skills are still there. And another brief one on the Tapita.
That's right. 5 furlongs, all weather. Claiming price of 16,000. Non-winners are 2 lifetime. Purse is 26,000. For fillies and mares, 3-year-old and upwards, which have never won 2 races.
5 furlong, the kind of horse that gets the big check, has early speed, 34% of the time. There's no doubt who the best 34 in history was, Charles. Who is it?
Who is the best 34?
Oh, come on. There can only be one. He's a Chicago Bear, man. Like the Chicago Bear.
Oh, Peyton.
Walter Payton, baby. Post positions are fair. Very small inside to outside bias, Charles. So you want a little bit of speed. Yeah, maybe you get a little bit of help on the inside, but it sure looks like one of them going to be a lot faster than the rest of them.
Yeah, look at that, number 3. Definitely has speed. 83%, basically 84% getting the lead at the quarter pole. I think the same thing. The horse is going to be really tough to beat. When it comes to simulation odds, the 1 was pretty much right on the money, just slightly under what they think. The 2 is, we have it at just slightly under 4-1. We have 8-1 morning line, a nice little overlay. So that's it, what we got there.
You can do yourself a nice 1, 2, 3 for a buck trifecta because those 3 in descending order, the best chance to run a par plus number in there. Well, that 3 horse could get up on the lead there, Charles. So, yeah, look out if he can get an uncontested start. Though the 7 might try to give him a little bit of an effort out of the gates. See if indeed the race shape benefits the 3. Well, the 3, 4, and 7 want to go forward, Charles. See which one has that early speed. It does look like that 3 horse is the speed of the speed. 4 points clear of Grace's Candy, the one we saw in the simulator to the outside. So 3 clears the 1 and 2 because neither one of them really show a whole lot of early speed. Gets the early lead. 4 and 7 kind of try to tag along. Can they keep up? We'll find out. At the end of the race, Mount Sinai, the lone P horse. If you see one of these Sesame Street horses that's unlike any of the others, definitely worth considering, especially if they have an in-race advantage. And again, the 1 horse does have an in-race advantage with that late speed and should sit right behind that wall of speed, not too far off the pace, Charles. Ideal trip, perhaps, for Mount Sinai. Total pace number, Mount Sinai, 5 points clear of Closed Toy and Robin and Eli. A little bit of a gap down from there, but not a whole lot. So, Charles, it's either going to be the speed or the closer. Where did you go?
Yeah, I think it's a 3-horse race. That closer is really tough to ignore, for one thing. But I lean towards the 4, tactical speed, drops in class. If you toss out the last 2 races, horse is more than just right there. He most likely wins it. And then today you get IRAD aboard, makes it really impressive. So it's going to be tough, but I think there's a couple other horses that could win this race pretty easy. The 1 is my second choice. Like you said, it could close, has that tactical, just sit close enough, and it's got a good kick at the end. Ran 3rd last time, and you get Paco aboard, so what else would you like to have? And then the 3 drops in class today, has all that speed like we talked about. The jockey gets 20% overall. So, I mean, it's a tough race between those 3 in my book. And then to round it out for some of the exotics, the 2 drops in class today, will be closing. They add the blinkers, Will it be enough? I don't think so to beat the top three. So that's why even in my pick 5, I took all 3 horses.
Yeah, I think the top 3 are pretty much. So we're just going to lock the 2 in the winner's circle right now, Charles, right? Because we both think the top 3 stand out above the rest. But Close Toy going to be on the front, as we've seen. Drop in class. We saw the same thing today work out in the opener. The one was the only one to drop in class there. This one's likely to be better in the second start after layoff. That's what the resume says, and does have that early speed advantage. Mount Sinai is that lone P, the Sesame Street horse in here with the robust par plus score. Only thing about this horse, Charles, has been off for more than a year. The workouts are not inspiring, so I really don't have any idea what this horse is going to do. I don't think it'll go off as the favorite. Do you?
I don't think so. But
if it does, like if it's like 3 to 5 or something like that, look out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love Rhapsody, the 4 horse. You got Irad Ortiz on a class. That should be fun. Irad and Paco down the lane fighting for the win. It'd be. Have you ever been?
That'd be interesting. Didn't they get a fight last year?
I think about a year or 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Medieval Times?
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
So I can imagine they should just give them both jousting sticks down the stretch.
Yeah, there you go.
That would make for excellent TV. But anyway, this horse running for Irad either runs good or bad. There's usually nothing in the middle. And the good usually comes when the horse contests for the lead. And we saw up here that the horse does indeed have a shot to contest for the lead. So I think Irad will probably try to get him out early. And then finally, number 2, Robin and Eli, taking a pretty good drop in class. Turf numbers suggest that this one might like all weather in her first try on the new surface. So it's going to get all weather no matter what today. This one was scheduled to be on all weather, Charles. I think after both of us saying the 4, 1, and 3 are the best 3, the 2 horse is going to be your winner. But I'm going to go with the trifecta 1, 3, with the 1, 3, 4, with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 7 horse, Charles. Race number 5 is next up on our list of things to do. What's happening in this race that was supposed to be on turf?
Yeah, it was supposed to be on turf, but it's going to be a mile on all weather. Oh,
I think it's a mile and 70 yards. It says right here.
Did they? Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I mean,
it's maiden.
I don't know why they just didn't do a mile and 16th.
Yeah. No kidding. I don't know why they do weird things, but all tracks do weird things sometimes. Maiden optional claiming of 40,000. Purse is 50,000. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Bred in Florida or maiden claiming of 40,000.
Yeah, bred in God's waiting room, so to speak. We don't have any numbers at a mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta, but again, at a mile and a 16th. And I think it's just the case for most of those long Tapeta races down there in Gulfstream. Stalkers do pretty good. It's tough to go wire to wire. Usually the post positions are pretty fair, Charles. In race number 5, who's going to get the lead?
Well, it looks like the 7's going to get the lead. At 75% chance of getting that lead. The 8 might have a little bit of a say in it, but I do believe that the 7's going to have that lead. When it comes to simulation odds, we have that 5. Look at that, even money, and you got 6-1 morning line. That's a nice little overlay. And then we have the 10 at just slightly over 2-1, and we got a morning line of 8-1. So another nice little overlay.
You mentioned those 2 overlays, and they tag team with some pretty robust par plus scores. So I would be surprised if either one of them go off at 6-1 or 8-1. I would think both of their numbers will likely come down. And then the C zone, really the only one that looks like it's going to be really comfortable with the pace. And here's the 11, Aracenia. Pretty deep field, Charles, in race number 6. So position is going to be race number 5. Position will be important. Really, the 10 horse, Palace Flirt, is really the only one that wants to go forward. The rest want to be middle or back, pressure horses or closers. The 10 might not be the fastest on here. It looks like the 7 is. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 10 is the one that gets the lead because the 7 or the 8 might not be all that comfortable pulling the cart in here, Charles. On the way down the stretch, Burn Away, that big overlay, Charles, has a big late race advantage, about 11 points better than everybody else. And really, outside of Street Charity and maybe British Empress, not all that far off the pace for that late leg advantage. Total top pace, 4-point clear for Burnaway. Fancy Stacks right behind there. Pretty competitive down to maybe the 3, 11, 9, and 1. Charles, pretty much a wide open race, it looks like to me, especially deep field, wet track, Tapeta. What do you think?
It's a wide open race, even though I did an exacta box. Even in my pick 5, I took my top 3 picks. I wish I could have gone at least another two in this race. But my top pick is the 7 here. I'm going to go with the speed. IRAD ran second last time. They, stretches out, goes a little bit longer today. The 11 ran third last time. Well bet. Trainer gets 11%. Second start after a layoff. And Johnny V is up aboard. I mean, all of a sudden he's got a mount. Yeah. I think he's only got 1 or 2 mounts today. And then the 5 is my third choice. I mean, everything kind of looks good on that 5. And that trainer's kind of a sneaky trainer that, boy, he keeps him really conditioned very well. He does an excellent job. Ran second the last 3 times. Well bet. Does have some tactical speed to keep up. And then that 4-horse drops in class today. You've got to toss that last race. When you do, it puts him right in the thick of things. Trainer gets 20% with 46 plus days of rest. So on my pick 5, top three horses, but I'm going a $5 exacta box here in this race, the 7-11.
Oh, he's going big time. $5 on that one. I'll start off with the 5-horse in there, Charles. Tied for the top last race. Speed figure, I like that. And then showed some improvement with the early pace last time out. And does have that strong late pace that we saw in there. So it improved the early pace. Horse moves a little bit closer to the front. Kicks it into high gear, and then runs right onto the finish line to take the photo with a smile. Street Charity, that 7-horse is the one the 5 is going to run down, though. He's the other one to tie for the top last race. Speed figure, going to get to the lead. Irad's going to go, yeah, for a horse that's been well bet in both starts. And then number 6, Digital Trade. This one ran much better fractions last time out, just missing. The only question, Charles, was going to be the first time on grass, but it's going to go all weather now, so no more questions. Finally, the 10-horse Palace Flirt. I think this one potentially has the most upside in the race, Charles. This one is only making its 2nd career start, and if it can improve, like a lot of horses do, make that big jump in career start number 2, very competitive in here, I feel. So I'm going to go 50-cent trifecta box, the 5, 6, and 7. With the 10. I know it says there's just 4 minutes left to post in race number 2 at Gulfstream Park. But there's one thing we know about Gulfstream Park is they take their lessons from Charlestown on getting to the gate on time. So we have plenty of time to do race number 6.
We might even finish the whole card by the time they get to this race.
Yeah, 5 minutes down at Gulfstream Park to post is like tomorrow.
Yeah. So race number 6, it's a mile. Claiming price of $62.50, non-winners of 3 lifetime. We have a purse of $19,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races. Pretty simple on this one.
Yeah, a mile in the dirt. You know, that mile track here, it's important to note, you hear the commentators sometimes on horse racing TV talk about 1-mile turns, or there you see it's a 1-mile turn. They act a little bit more like sprints than they do routes. And that's why early speed does pretty well down there. 27% of the time, it goes wire to wire. Charles, 27. Who's a good 27? I can't think of a 27 off the top of my head. Post positions 1 through 7, play fair. 8 and out, you do get a little bit of a bonus. So if you have some outside speed in race number 6, Charles, you might do better. But it looks like all of that speed is to the inside.
Yes. Well, you do have the 5. At 44% chance of getting the lead. Probably could be true, but the 1 might have a little bit of a say in that. But I think the 1's a little bit better at closing than on the lead at 24%. And you got a couple other horses in there that have a little speed, like the 2, the 4, and possibly even the 8. But when it comes to simulation odds, the 4 pretty much right on the money at about 4 to 5.
No, that's like 1 to 5 versus 3 to 5.
More like 1 to 5. Okay.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if that horse doesn't go off like 1-20.
Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, I think it might go off at a nickel. I really do. We'll talk about why in a minute, but I think there's a good shot it's going to go off at a nickel. I think the best, I think a smart bet in here would be to do like the show pool or the place pool, because if that one somehow ran off the board, it's going to collect so much money from those people that put like $150,000 to make 10%. But go ahead.
Right, you're right. But the question is, it's got to, go finish third or something like that. So that's it. That's all we have on odds, really. So,
and it's got that strong par plus score in there, though. Maybe the pace might not work out to its favor. As far as the race shape is concerned, the 6 horse is a potential lone E. Everybody else middle back. The 1 horse, Nature Boy, in its limited experience, not within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. I mean, you want speed in this race shape, Charles. There's no question about it. If the 6 can get to the front, he'd have a shot. He's got a shot to get to the front. Got to clear those 2 horses to its inside. The 5 horse showing some speed makes it a left arrow horse. A lot of upsets come from those types. Late speed belongs to the 7. Impulsiveness, and Storm Brave, that 4 horse. 10 points clear of the next closest horse. That 4, you might not be able to catch what you can't pass, Charles. And then finally, our top total pace horse in here, we got 13-point advantage for Storm Brave. Going to be up on the front, going to be hard to run down late. Big time simulation favorite. Single up on your pick 4, Charles. Rather than how does it win, how does it get beat?
Well, can't break on top pretty much. I think if he doesn't at least get out there or get close to the leader, this horse is done. I mean, he's got to be within a length and a half of that leader to win this race, and which most likely the leader will be the 5, but it doesn't mean for sure. But that's how I see this horse. If he doesn't get within that distance, it's over. This horse did run the second last time out. IRAD is aboard. Trainer gets 19% when he takes him a route. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to jump in on the claim on this horse. This is his 3rd start after a layoff. I would be a little wary about that because the horse used to run at $35,000 claiming price and was doing pretty decent, hung in there. And now we're dropping to pretty much the bottom. That'd be a tough claim to go after, I think. But I have a feeling it's going to get claimed. The 7 is my second choice. This horse, if you toss out that last time, drops in class. Well bet. This one will be closing like a bomb here. Try to pick up some of the pieces. The 2 is my third choice. This horse ran even last time. The trainer gets 20% first after a claim. Does drop in class today. So look out. And then the 1. This is the one right here that is this horse could do a couple of things, but the problem is he needs to wake up a little bit. This horse does have tactical speed, and closes most of the time. It just needs to wake up. If this horse wakes up, could be dangerous in this spot.
Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo! Because I said
Ric Flair.
All right. I'm looking at this 4 horse, Charles, and I don't know that I've seen this recently. It has a 20-point speed figure advantage over the next closest horse.
Yes.
I mean, that has to come way down, or the others have to come way up. It does have that 13-point total pace edge. It's going to make its 3rd start off a layoff. And according to its history, there is some regression that's likely. I don't know if it's going to regress 20 points. All those computers out there that do for the syndicates are going to see that 20-point speed rating advantage. I think you're going to see maybe some bloated place and show pool bets. So maybe try something else and hope that one runs out of the money. Hello, Jack is the one I'm going to put second in there, Charles, because he does some of his best work when he's coming off the bench. Does have decent workouts getting ready for the first start in a while. Going to get a little bit of weight break. And the only other time this horse ran a mile, it finished second. So I think perhaps the most likely to beat the 4. Eyes of a Champion, the 6 horse, doesn't look like it on paper, but actually could threaten for the lead, Charles. And if it does get the lead, it's the lone E horse. Its confidence will grow, and maybe it's the one that pulls off the upset. And then finally, Impulsiveness does have the most late speed, kind of tied up with the 4 on that one. Very consistent performer with a strong maintenance workout between races. I was contemplating just throwing the 4 out altogether and just going 2-6 on my pick 4, because if the 4 gets beat, you're going to cut all of the pick 4 tickets probably by a half, 3/4.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's either you place the 4 or you hit all the other horses and leave the 4 out. That's how you got to play it. It's one of the two, and obvious. It looks what I did is I singled the 4, I singled the 5 in the next one, and then I hit the all button in the last 2, hoping for a price in both races. Just cash me out.
Yeah, and I made the biblical mistake of here splitting the baby with the 4, and then the one horse I think can do the perhaps upset him. Though I do worry about that 6 too. And then I got 4, 5, 7, 5, 8, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5. Definitely, if that 4 wins, you're going to need something on the back end at a price in order to cash
definitely.
out.
You have to.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, race 2 about to get cracking here, Charles. We have the 2 horse as the favorite. Right now is 4 to 5. Go Big Green, the 2 horse. Not really meriting that at all. It looks to me like the value in here is in the 1 horse at 9 to 1. Our odds are more like 3 to 2. And then the next up on the board, it looks like the 3 horse offers some value as well. We got 2 to 1, and that one is at 7 to 2. So maybe a nice 1-3 exacta might be a good value bet as they come out of the gates. Charles, the 8 horse is the one that has gone to the lead relatively easily, Charles. The 7 horse in there on the rail to keep the 8 to task, but 8 cleared. Hasn't moved down to the rail yet, but about to do so. The 9 horse is trying to keep up with the 8. The 7 horse is in third. To its outside is my long shot there, Charles. The 6 horse at 10 to 1. You got the 1 on the rail. And then outside that, it looks like the 4 horse, but a pretty tightly bunched field. Probably about 6, 7 horses from the nose of the 8 to the tail of the 2, which is now in last place. They go through the opening quarter in 24 and 5, essentially. So not the fastest of opening quarters. They continue down the backstretch. Really not a lot of change in order there. It looks a little bit like one of those English horse races where they all kind of run the same until the very end, and then everybody decides to get it going. Looks to me like that 8 horse, Charles, could be one to contend with here for the rest of the race, because
I'm rooting for it because I have this horse in my pick 5, and look at the odds. It's not 8 to 1. Go, Joe Bravo, go.
The 7 horse is trying to make its way up in there. Let's see who's going to come with him. The 6 horse on the outside, I'm going to need him to make a little bit of a move to go by the 7. I don't think he's going to. I think the 7's really going to challenge. Here comes the 1 horse on the rail, Charles. I think that 7 horse is
going to made a great move.
Up. Can the 1 horse catch that guy? I don't know if he can, Charles.
I don't know. This is going to be tough.
It's going to be tight down the stretch. I think he's going to get him. There you go, Charles.
1 got it.
Yep, 1, 7, 2. And
you
have the 1 in your pick 5 too, right?
Yep, I had the 1.
Yeah, and we both
9 to 1.
9 to 1. So you're off to a blazing hot start.
Yes.
For that
now I need the single. Now I need that single.
That 4 horse, Charles, right? That's coming up in the next race, right?
Yep, next race.
Yeah, you hit that one, boy. You're gonna have a great end to the year. You might just consider about wrapping it up for 2023 if that's the case.
I might as well just
we'll just close the showdown and see you in 2024. All right.
Yeah.
Well, before then, we'll see you for race number 7, my man. What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to go there first, right?
Yeah. Well, we should have doubled them. The 1-1 double. Because we both had the 1 in our first pick, right? In the first race, our third pick in the second race, we go to 1-1 double. That thing's probably going to come close to paying. Well, let's see what the 1-1 double is going to pay, right? We can see that.
Yeah.
All right. While I look to see what the 1-1 double is going to pay, you tell us.
I'll talk us through this next one.
Yes.
A mile and 16th, all weather, optional claiming price of $20,000. The purse is $32,000. This is for fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $12,500 or less since December the 14th of 21, or a claiming price of $20,000. So that's a lot of big options there for these trainers to drop their horses in this race. That's really a nice condition.
Yeah, 2 years, right, since the date to the date.
Really nice.
$69.50 for a buck, Charles, for the 1-1 double. Not a bad way to start the day. I got the 1 mile and a 16th on the all-weather details for you. Stalkers do well. 17% of the time they go wire to wire. A little bit of a rail penalty for Bletchety Girl. 2-3, a small penalty as well. 4-3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, a little bit better than par. 8 and out. They play fair, Charles. Speed's not really holding up so far, so maybe you want something to come off the pace a bit. But if speed does hold up, Charles, I mean, every single horse here has some opportunity to get on the lead, maybe some more so than others.
Remember, everybody, the next race is on the main track, so it's now going from all weather to slops. So you got to watch that speed thing. But this one, God, it looks like the 3. It's got a 41% chance of getting that lead. I have it, it could have a great chance at this, but I also think the 7 has an excellent chance of getting that lead. So look out for the 7 also. When it comes to simulation odds, look at the 2, slightly over 9-1 and 20-1 morning line. That's an overlay. We have the 4 slightly under 4-1. We have 4-1 morning line. We have the 5 slightly over 1 even money, and we have a 2-1 morning line. So we got a couple overlays there, but that big one is the 2.
And then as far as par plus, only the 5 horse Don't Get Pickled. A little bit of a chance to do that. Also, you got 3 that have a little bit better than chance to get the pace they're comfortable with than the others. That's the 1, and then 2 on the outside. That 7 horse screwed up my trifecta, Charles, there because it went 1, 7, 2, 6. So the 7 runs 4th. I would have had it, but it's the nature of horse racing, right? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's like that big one that breaks your line when you're fishing. Our race shape for race number 7, we see here 2 horses that want to be forwardly placed, a 3, 4. The 1, 6, and 7, they are PC types, so they have some versatility. Can pretty much be anywhere on the track. As far as the 2 and 5, they want to close early on. Does, again, much like the simulations, does show like anybody can really get to the lead there. The 3, being the lone E, I expect that one then to press to the forward because that's where it wants to be in order to win. A late speed, the 5 horse Don't Get Pickled, going to be a little bit way off the pace there. Maybe the EC horse or the EP horse, Sandpiper Memory. Maybe that's the one that might get the perfect trip today based upon its running style. Also grades out as your top total pace horse. The 6, looks like this is going to be a race of the PC types, Charles, though only the 7 horse really not in with the rest of this group, but really not by a whole lot. Another race that pretty much can be won by anybody, and who do you think will do it?
Yeah, well, I have the 5, and I think the 5 will. I had singled out in my pick 4, and of course I have a singled here in my pick 3. Ran second last time, 3rd start after a layoff. This horse has got tactical speed to sit right there around 3rd and pounce when it has to. So, and according to what's been happening, that's probably a good spot to be. So look out for that. We have the 6 as my second choice. This horse ran even last time. This horse is totally bred for all this. Got Paco aboard, so coming down the lane, look out. The 7 is my 3rd choice, which I think is the speed of the race. This horse drops in class today. You got a hot trainer in the last 14 days, so it might pick up the piece of the pie. And then the 3 is my final pick here. Ran even the last 2 times. Looks like it totally fits with this group, but you're going to have to beat that 5 because the style it runs and especially now how this track's playing is just off the pace horses doing very well.
At least early on, anyhow. So you got to pick 3, as do I. You're going to single the 5 with the 7, 10 with the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 8. I have the 4 horse as the winner in here. Sandpiper Memory. The best races for this guy have been on all weather. That's what it's going to get now, Charles. Should be forwardly placed here. That's what it likes. It's the lone EP horse, top total pace horse. And as we mentioned in the thing, I think this is the one that's going to get the absolute right trip for its running style. The 7, Demogorgon. No idea what a Demogorgon is, but I do know that last time out, that horse ran better early fractions and better pace numbers and does have a nice maintenance workout in between. So showed some new life. That maintenance work's going to give him the shot he needs to get the job done. Don't Get Pickled, your horse on top there. Your single, Charles, Just missed at this level last out, ran better fractions and a better final time, and a chance to continue up that ladder in the third start after a layoff. Finally, Rosie Holiday, the 6. Hey, we should have probably put that one up top, right? The holidays are coming. Runs decently off the bench like today. The only question for me on that one is, how's it going to take to the all-weather? It hasn't really shown a propensity or a love for it yet, so we'll find out if it can do it. Pick 3 for me, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to single the 8 in race number 8, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 in the back end there. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, Charles. So I should just throw out the 5, and then I'm going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fun. Some numerology in there somewhere, I'm sure. 2 races to go. Race 8 does start. The late double, Charles. They're not going to run on the turf. They're going to run on the all-weather. But otherwise, what else is happening?
Yeah, they're going, instead of a mile, they're going to go 1 mile and 70 yards. Optional claiming of 25,000. Non-winners are 1. The purse is 71,000. This is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 12,000 once other than maiden claiming starter or restricted, or which have never won 2 races or claiming price of $25,000.
And then 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. We don't have that. But again, tactical speed usually does pretty good. Post positions, really no deal killers or deal makers. Charles, if there's going to be a horse that gets to the front and wins this one on the lead, maybe that's Bay Lounge.
Well, yes, that's what this says, here, the 9 at 48% chance. I personally believe it's going to be the 8 is going to go out there and get the lead. I think that horse is pretty fast. And now the question is, now it's going to 170. I liked it at mile, with the speed. Now mile 70 is, I don't know. I'm questioning it a little bit. Simulation odds. We have, let me see, what do we have? Do we have anything? Oh, the 8. Wow, that's like 2 to 5, 1 to 5, somewhere around there. And you got a 6-1 morning line now. That's a overlay.
Yes, I'd say. Well, hopefully it proves to be accurate. That's my single in that pick 3. Yeah, and also has that really high par plus score in there too. So almost 80% chance that its speed figure will top the number that you have.
My question is to you: was that for the mile, or is that now for the new mile and 70 yards? That par plus.
It's just based upon its simulations that we do. So all races included in there, up to the last 10 starts.
So it's for all distances.
Yeah. So essentially, I don't want to give away the secret sauce there, Charles, but essentially we take we kind of weighted a little bit the form, recent form, and then from there, the recent form, we look to see 1,000 simulations. We take into account its standard deviation, and then we run the simulations off of that. So it's proven a lot of times we've seen these par plus horses do pretty good, Charles. And
especially with the speed zone, that's a decent number, which it does have a decent number at 68.
So we'll see if that plays out, my man. We'll find. I hope so. I singled that bad boy.
Well, what just got me is it going from 1 mile to 1 mile and 16.
1 mile and 40 yards. Yeah, extra 40 yards.
40, excuse me. 1 mile and 40. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, ask a football player who's running 50-yard sprints between that and a 90-yard sprint, right? But anyway, exactly. It does look like the 5 and the 9 will be the ones that get to the front. All right about that. But on the end, when they're coming home, Ruse, which won't be too far. If you remember here on the early pace numbers, look at that. 3rd. Does have the most late speed in here too, Charles, but not a whole lot. Big gap between it and all these over here. The 5 and the 2 probably tail off a little bit at the end there. Total pace, the 8 horse, 3 points clear of everybody else. By Louis, right behind there, and then a drop off. So the 8 horse, good shot to be 2nd, 3rd, coming around that turn. Use those late legs, see if it can outrun the rest of the closers. Charles, I put him on top. You think some others will get by him before he finishes 3rd?
Yeah, I remember on my pick 4, I did hit the all button here, so I'm kind of hoping for something else. But I did lean towards the 10. Drops in class, 2nd start after a layoff. Todd gets 25% with that angle. This horse will be closing With that added little extra distance, Luis Saez should be probably licking his chops that he got that, because originally I was questioning, can he quite nail him at the wire for a mile. So the 7 is my second choice here. One last time out. IRAD's aboard. You got a trainer that hits 15% with 46 plus days of rest. This horse has got more like that tactical speed. It'll sit pretty close. And then that 8 horse, the speed, in my opinion, the speed of the race. Trainer gets 13% with 46 plus days of rest. The Lasix go back on, which is another key to this horse, I believe. They had no Lasix last time, and it didn't run very well. The 5 drops in class, cuts back in distance. If you toss the last one out, puts them right there in the thick of things. But like I said, in my pick 4, I did hit the all button and kind of hoping for a nice little price.
Yeah, I went the other way with singling the 8 in my pick 3. Top last race speed figure, Charles, last time out, 7 points clear of the next closest horses. Also your top total pace horse in here. And he's going to drop from a $200,000 non-graded stakes race. So definitely squaring up against some good competition, and maybe a little bit of a downgraded comp here today. American Diamond, that would be Dustin Poirier. You have Joseph, I did it, Safi Joseph Jr. and Edgar Zayas, those two, when they team up, my man, they win 1 out of 3 races in 70 races so far. So that's a big, big, big number. Okay, Boomer. A little bit slang right there, I guess, from the Gen Z types, right? Yep. Any of his first 3 races would be good enough, all with Luis Saez on board. Luis got off for the last race, and the horse spun his tires in the gates. So they're going to put him back on the horse today. Jeopardy Theory, the 7 horse, gets the final spot for me. This one's absolutely at a mile, was running the right distance, Charles. He won 4 of them with 2 seconds and 8 tries. Maybe that extra 40 yards puts it in the other category, and that other category's got no wins and 3 seconds in the third. But maybe IRAD can kind of find a middle ground between that 1 mile and 1 mile and 40 yards. Charles, what do you think?
Maybe. That's going to be tough.
So I have no bets in this race. And the final race of the day is the 9th race on the card, Charles. Back to 5 furlongs like we started.
Back to maidens. 5 furlongs, back to all weather again. Surprise. They shouldn't even call it Gulfstream anymore. They should just call it all weather.
They should call it
Tapita track. Maiden claiming a 25,000. Purse is 32,000. For maidens, 3-year-olds and upward. Pretty basic.
And finally, the 5 furlong all-weather winner does have early speed. Walter Payton goes wire to wire. And then you have pretty fair post positions, a very small inside to outside bias, Charles. So a little bit of inside speed can go a long way, but it looks like the 5 horse on the outside is where all the speed will be found.
Yeah, it looks like the 5 is the speed of the race. I have it as speed of the race. Remember, these are 3-year-olds and some of them are 4-year-olds maidens. So let's see what they could do. They're trying to finish off the year with a win. But I don't see anyone else challenging that horse for a lead at the quarter pole. When it comes simulation odds, we have the 2 slightly under 2-1. We have 3-1 morning line. That's not too bad. We have the 3 just under even money. We have 2.5-1 morning line, and that's all we have for overlays.
And then the par plus, pretty big numbers for the 2 and 3 in there. You got a nice C-zone score over here for Mr. American. So we'll see if he can live up to that. Also with Vinicio. Final time today, we'll look at pace handicapping, see how that works out. The 1, the 4, and the 5 for these maidens hasn't been within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line so far. Maybe you can X through those. It means you got the 2, 3, and the 8, Charles. As the ones that have shown some interest in winning a race. Kern River, as you mentioned, Charles, probably a good shot to be on the lead along with Mr. American. But really not a big difference between everyone in here except the 4. 4 will better show some late speed if it wants to be in the money today. Maybe it has a shot to go in there. But Be Lucky is the 1, the closer, has the most late speed. Should sit maybe mid-pack with these group if it can get off to a little bit better start. Total pace is Be Lucky, Mr. American, One Fast Dream. So indeed, you got the 3 horses that showed some interest in trying to win races so far. Charles, any of those? I don't have the 8 in there, but I got the others, and you don't have the 3.
Yeah, it's a tough race. I do think it's the 2's race to lose, but this horse is not a superstar. As well, it's a maiden, so it can't be a superstar, right?
Oh, that's not yet.
Not yet, right? So it does have tactical speed. Ran second last time out. Mark Casey gets 15% with 46 plus days of rest. Well bet last time. Horse is definitely one of the horses to beat, but the 5 does have that speed and makes him very dangerous. Maker gets 16% with 46 plus days, drops in class, and guess who's aboard? Irad. The 8, this is an interesting horse here in this race. Drops in class, ran even last time, and in my opinion, there's a jockey upgrade here. So look out. The number 1 is my final pick here. This horse is a first-time gelding. Ouch. Ran even both times it ran. Drops in class today. Like I said before, my pick 4, I hit the all button here too. So kind of wanting a price horse, but you do kind of have to beat the 2. But if you beat the 2, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, I think you got to beat the 2 too, Charles. Top last race speed figure, been really close on that all-weather surface so far. 5 times out, a couple seconds, couple thirds. And the cutback in distance today could be the difference. Be Lucky, the 3 horse in here, Charles. Maiden special weight drop, the biggest drop in all of horse racing. Got tangled at the start of its debut when it was well bet, Charles. So its race was over before it got started. So even with that, the horse improves it all off the debut. It's going to be your winner. Kern River going to ship in from New York, the NYRA circuit. Irad says, I wrote him up there. I'll write him down here. I don't know if you did, but maybe familiar with the horse nonetheless. I think that one will be part of the early pacing here, and really a lot of good workouts getting ready for today. And then Vinicio, there's that bomb that you want, Charles, for your pick 4. Was a really hard call over Mr. American for me, but you cannot miss. The other day we saw this, and we missed it with that 6 horse that won the opener. But look at this little workout right here, Charles. Now, which one am I looking for? I'm looking for the 4.
You're looking for the 4.
Yes. Look at this little workout there, Charles. It didn't do anything like this before. Maybe that horse woke up or finally got the good hay, Charles.
Well, it's bred to win early. Last both times it ran even in its races, so it's learning a lot. Its speed numbers are getting better both times, so there's a lot of positives to this horse. I just wish they would have left one of those jockeys on board. Now we're going for the 3rd jockey for the 3rd start, so I think that's a negative. But
3rd time's the charm. 2, 3, 5, 2, 3 over to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Let's see how I'm going to close it out with my trifecta for the day. Here are our total picks for the day. The 1 horse won the first race. The 1 horse won the second race. So what the hell? Just put 1s all the way down, Charles, and maybe you'll have a fantastic day. Hell, you would have got off to a great start. No question about that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I'm not quite sure what time, but there will be a Foreign Friday with Thomas and I, probably in the afternoon sometime. We're going to do Eagle Farms down in Australia, the land down under where people hang on to the planet by their feet. Not quite sure how they do that, Charles, but congratulations to them. Monday, I will be back with Terry to do Parks. Tuesday, Parks. Wednesday with you, probably we'll do Tampa Bay, and then Gulfstream Park on Thursday, right? And then we'll be closing in on the holidays, so I'm not quite sure what our holiday schedule will look like, but we'll get to that as we approach the holidays. Again, today's free track of the day at Guaranteed Tip Sheet is Mahoning Valley. There is a link in the description down below. Kindly use that. And then, of course, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. Follow us here on YouTube. Also, press that share button. Copy that link and share our show with your friends. Maybe if they don't like horse racing, they will. Or maybe they're not. They're walking around lucky and just don't know it. And they'll make a bet based upon Charles's advice. And, of course, all of our social sites are down there below. Any final thoughts from you, Charles, before we get out of here for the weekend?
No, that's about it. Let's hit this pick 5. Let's finish this thing out.
Yeah, your 4 horses, your single right now, Charles. It is the 4 to 5 favorite. With it says there's a few minutes to post here. I don't know, but they're still walking around. They're nowhere near the gate, so probably about another 3-4 minutes. Too much time to burn. Hope that 4 horse wins for you, Charles. My little concern in there is that 7 horse gobbled up a ton of the track money at the start when the odds opened up. It was like 2 to 5. So I would look out for that 7 as an alternative in there. That's it, Charles. Thanks for joining us today and this week. As always, folks, we hope no matter what you're doing for the rest of this Thursday, this weekend, get your shopping out of the way, celebrate time with your friends and family. And of course, we hope that you have God's grace and God's favor. No matter what you're doing, everything ends up in
the winner's circle.
Indeed. Thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful day.